Testing. Oh, there he is. Holy smokes, there it is. You guys ready to get high today? I mean, why not? You know? Why not? Why not feel the bliss that runs through every cell and every cell of the body and become intoxicated on the joy of God? Become intoxicated on the joy of God.
Hazel. She's just infatuated with Matt. She's in love. Dennis is calling me. Hazel, please.
So he's just saw someone else who's coming up there. She said, I think she's looking for parking, I guess.
Oh, okay.
I wonder if it was Elise.
Oh, is this
Lisa Ryan?
Yeah.
Beast.
If you ever need the restroom, it's the door on the right there. Yeah. You guys have waters just in case. So what is your spiritual practice? What is your spiritual background? How long have you been practicing? How often do you practice?
I've been attending Sanghas. Buddhist Sanghas.
Okay. Okay. So is practice off and on for you, or like meditation?
Yes.
Okay. How about you?
I was introduced to,
How often do you practice every day? Is it a daily thing? Is it a not so daily thing? What's your weekly practice? How often do you practice a week?
I sit down for 23 minutes. So,
Okay. How often?
once a day.
Once a day. 23 minutes in the morning or evening?
Morning.
Okay. Okay. How about yourself? What's your practice like?
Oh, morning and night.
Okay.
I do a reading. I'm in recovery, so I do a reading in the morning.
Okay. Okay. Beautiful.
Start.
That's great. Well, you're in the right place. This is grace. You're in the presence of grace. And this temple is grace. This temple is a very special place. It's a consecrated space. You opening up your energies, this is beautiful purification here. Beautiful purification. And just group practice. It's beautiful that you're here. Yeah. Matt's been a friend of mine, and hi there. Welcome. What is your name?
Liana.
Liana? Where are you coming from, Liana?
Vista.
Vista.
Sorry, I was like wondering where do I park?
Yeah.
This is my first time
Do you know Liana?
No.
Oh, okay.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard from this place from my friend Nancy.
Okay. Oh, beautiful. Nancy's coming too.
Yes.
That's right.
I'm hoping she's coming, right?
Yeah. She said she's coming. Yeah. I'm so happy that you're here today. Yeah. I'm just so grateful that you're with us. Yeah. So I was asking people what their practice is. What is your practice? What is your background?
What's my background? I actually was a full-time mom for the longest time, and then I decided to go back to school while my kids were growing up.
Okay.
And then I went to grad school, and right now I'm looking for a job.
Okay.
I do have
Okay.
coming up in the spring as a lecturer for
Okay.
statistics.
Beautiful. How about your meditation practice?
Meditation.
What's your background in meditation?
Gardening.
Gardening. You know what was really funny? You guys ever heard of Ram Dass? Have you heard of Ram Dass, that spiritual teacher? Okay, so he was giving this lecture. I guess there's this. You've heard of Ram Dass before? Okay. He's giving this really funny story. And he's going in his like abstract teachings. And there was this person that came up after, this older lady. She came up after the Ram Dass and said, I was just, I loved what you were teaching. It was so amazing. And Ram Dass goes, you were really tuned in. What do you do? Like, are you a meditator? She goes, I crochet. So I'm glad you garden. I know it can. I'm here, but I'm not a gardener. But I know it can put you in a beautiful state there. That's wonderful. Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm glad you're here today. This is gonna be. I was just telling a friend that.
So Hazel's a healer. Hazel means the one who sees God. And it's just what she does. Loves unconditionally. That's funny. If she gets too much, just let me know. I'll put her in the room. She'll cry.
What's the time?
9:48.
9:48. So it was a pretty short drive for you then. I see. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't tow here. You can always park in the driveway if you ever come, or yeah. I think on the right side, is for on the right side you can park on any street.
I'm curious, Dennis, what's your practice?
It's a combination of everything. After a while, like I've been doing it since I was 17. It just becomes, 24 hours. I worked with with Hazel. My new practice. No, I work with the violet flame. I meditate every day. I use the science of the spoken word. All the chakras. From immaculate seeing. Visualizing everybody is perfect. Everything is perfect. Spiritual eye. Connecting to the I am presence with the crown chakra, throat chakra, speaking truth, the I am affirmations, bringing down in reality what I want to manifest. And then, of course, the biggest one, which is my favorite thing, is, connecting to the heart, bodhicitta, heart wisdom.
And do you have, is that your guru? Is that the one, the picture behind? Who's that?
I think I had a past life with Jesus, or maybe when Jesus was walking the earth, I was watching from the other side or something, and it's just amazing, to witness that.
Yeah.
This is Sana Kumara, Lady Master Venus. These are, my guru was Elizabeth Clare Prophet.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I lived in Montana, so I maybe everybody.
Oh, yeah.
But I wasn't part of that.
Yeah.
Were you there at the time? Like before 2000?
Yeah, I was
You were
there
there,
in
okay.
1977.
All right. Yeah, I know a few people who were there, but
Yeah.
like of the Holy Spirit. There are levels of how deeply somebody's plugged in.
Mhm.
And I haven't ever seen anybody like, I call their mother.
Is there anything like that about now in the present? I mean, is there anybody like her?
Um, Alma the Hugging Saint is probably the
Although, what you're
closest.
saying, I've seen her in England.
Yeah, like she's definitely, um, probably in the top, I think. It's probably, from the Divine Mother herself who wants to transmit this radiation. She, there's people that get this, mantle of light that comes from the source. And Amma obviously is that.
I started with the transcendental meditation with Deepak Chopra, and then I was always interested in meditation. It's just that everybody has their own like gardeners. I feel sometimes I'm writing. I feel like I'm meditating while I'm writing. It's all different ways.
Yeah, washing dishes, chopping wood, fetching water, it just becomes like your life. You're just constantly churning your inner
I have a
divinity.
I have a mentor. His name is Father Mark, and he's taught me a great deal when it comes to just a universal way of accepting a Catholic way. But he's a Catholic priest. But here I am, this yogi, and come together with a Catholic priest, and we come together. We might see each other about once a year. He'll come up on the mountain. There's a little retreat space that he'll come up. And one thing he taught me was when I'm working, I'm praying. Yeah. And when I'm praying, I'm working. And in his form of tradition, all form of action, he's constantly praying as he's doing the dishes or doing everything he's doing, he's praying. He's just constantly in this repetitive thought of putting the mind to God, connecting the mind to God over and over and over. And when he's sitting, he's still doing work, which is praying. And I know that a lot of the masters speak about this is when can we be in absolute non-action, but in the non-action we're still in action. And those beings who are very advanced, they can sit absolutely still, but in the stillness there's still subtle action happening. And as you deepen the spiritual practice, a big thing that I teach many people is deepen your practice. Just maybe I would say a big thing message that I get across is just deepen your practice. Go deeper, go deeper, go deeper, go longer. Jill's my wife, and sometimes I can be hard on her, and especially in the past. But as our relationship has evolved, it's been getting softer and softer because I think I showed her a great deal of maybe questioning just discipline. Go deeper in the practice. Go deeper. Go deeper. Can you go longer in meditation? I know you get out in 20 minutes. Can you go another 10? Can you go another 20? Can you get to an hour? And just totally sit. Your ego wants to get up. The subconscious mind goes, I'm ready for activity. Can you go deeper, though? Can you go absolutely into the bliss and then stay in that bliss? So this is practice. We mentioned, like you were sharing all these things about the different masters and stuff like this. Alma the Hugging Saint, Sadhguru. There's other masters that aren't known. There's one of the teachers that I've had. He founded the Yoga Center of California. They're in Costa Mesa. He's a self-realized human being. Whenever getting around those people is a gift, but I think a good understanding as those beings will reflect to us of what's the purpose of this life. And can we go deeper in our own meditations? And Paramahansa Yogananda, the one thing he would teach all of his students across the world is make your meditations deeper than the day before. Strive for that, making your meditations deeper than you did the day before.
I found that just being in stillness, like being still, like not having any distractions around you, and just, you can do things, but just the fact that you are open to receiving is really useful as a practice in stillness.
Well, I think we should get started here. What is the time now? 10:01. That's nice. I can glance over and I'll look right there. So, if you're new to practice, there's a wonderful little mantra. Mantra is this words, a phrase, or a syllable that you can repeat over and over in your mind that will keep the mind. Do you need to, please?
Yeah, faith is actually Nancy's code.
Okay, beautiful.
Yes, you try, everybody you could find, you could find parking. It's just right in the house.
Thank you for being on time. And early. Is that a common thing that Germans will... Well, may we all become Germans. You're German. You're German, no? Oh, Irish. Gotcha. Do you think Hazel will be okay in there? I don't know. I don't want her to be like, where's my people? But whatever you feel, Okay, I'll feel it out just in the next couple minutes. I think it'll be better. She'll settle, I think, in there. Okay. So Dennis is he's in the process of repainting this. This was a green, no? Like a
Yeah, it's like a sage green.
and
Yeah. 2 coats.
and then the even more photos are here, and there's some wonderful photos of the masters and everything that's more than what you see here.
Have you been to India? You paint?
Yes.
Acrylic oils? Acrylics and oils?
Oh, I paint. Well, I don't paint anymore. I do oils.
I paint. I used to paint myself in the background, but
Are you?
that's takes.
That's a meditation too.
Yes,
Hmm.
you can spend hours.
You can get in that timeless place.
Hmm.
That's right. She's just kind of lost
I see.
there. Yeah, I share my paint with her location just to see what we should.
Jill, do I have any messages on my phone? Okay. Well, we're going to wait for one person, and then we'll get started. Oh, I was telling you, word, phrase, or syllable mantra. So, the practice of a mantra is to make the mind calm, make the mind one-pointed, bring the mind in concentration. One thought, repetitive motion of that thought. So the mind has all these different thoughts that are constantly going, and you trade in one thought for all these other thoughts. So you're constantly thinking this one. So all the other thoughts start to go away. But in the process of going away, you're going to be able to see them more clearly. You start to see all these different waves of thought patterns, waves of the vibrations of thought that you're thinking all the time. In the beginning, though, it's a hard practice because the mind's conscience always restless. It's always wanting to go, go, go. Okay. So, as you're practicing this mantra, don't be discouraged because the mind's going to go, go, go. There's going to be a little attachments that the mind's going to go, I want that. I desire that. And you just kind of keep going back to the mantra. Sure, yeah. The practice, I forget, you have mantra. Yeah, if you practice your mantra, then practice your mantra inside, and that's good. If you have your own personal mantra, then practice this personal mantra if you have one already. But the universal one is I got from the teachings of the Buddha, and it's called the full awareness of breathing. Okay? And it's simply put, breathing in, I know that I'm breathing in. Breathing out, I know that I'm breathing out. And as that process starts to happen, and if you get to a space that the mind becomes very calm, you can shorten that to breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. So you're uniting this movement of the breath and breath awareness with movement of the mind and conscious thinking. And if that comes more still and slow, and you notice you can go even deeper, you can shorten it to in, out, in, out. And so it's just this constant flow. But if the mind starts to chatter again, go back to breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. And so the goal quicker get to the space where you start to learn how to go back to that space more easily, more often, quicker. You're noticing the mind when the mind goes astray. How quick can you notice it go astray, and then you bring it back with the mantra, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, and you start to become very skillful in this practice. My love.
UPS man.
I guess I never really considered it self-hypnosis, but in a way, I mean, you're hypnotizing yourself in one thought, and you're totally becoming, you're hypnotizing yourself to become totally conscious of what is happening. Yeah. Mm. Mm. Mm.
The UPS man or the mailman?
Well, let's just start tuning into the breath here and start practicing now. When somebody arrives, they can sit and practice with us quietly. And then after this last person arrives, then we will go into a deeper meditation. Should we put her in the room? Should we put her in the room? Yeah. We're going to start to deepen our breath here. I'm going to take you through a yoga practice of meditation. So begin to deepen your breath. Deepen the breath. It can happen through the mouth. Deep rhythmic breathing. Cleansing breath. Purifying breath. Transforming breath. You're going to start to feel a little tingly. Now as you're breathing, I want you to look up into your third eye. And bring your eyes to look up between the point between the eyebrows. And just keep breathing like this, looking up. You're going to be going deeper. The mind's becoming calm. The mind's becoming single-pointed. Look up into the third eye. Keep looking up. Continue breathing. 10 more breaths. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 3, 2. Last breath, breathe in all the way. Exhale all the way and then hold at the bottom. Exhale and hold. Look up into your third eye and hold. As you're holding, slightly squeeze down on the perineum muscles. The anal muscles, squeeze down on those slightly. Looking up into your third eye. Hold it as long as you can. When you need to inhale, breathe in all the way, and then hold for 15 seconds on the inhale. Immerse yourself in inward joy. We're going to do another set of breathing. Start breathing in again. Breathe in. And just let it go. Deep rhythmic breathing. We're going to make the breath a little quicker now. Take a deep, big inhale. Sigh it out. Another big inhale. Sigh. One more. Now back to inhale quick. Big inhale. Sigh. Back to quick. Big inhale. Exhale. One more inhale. Exhale, and then hold at the bottom. Hold. And you can go back to deep, calm inhalations. Very slow breath. Going deeply inward. Become aware of the soul. Bring your hands together in prayer position. With so much love and with so much beautiful goodness. May we all be touched by the grace of God. May we all be touched by this cosmic bliss to saturate every cell of our being with light, to transcend our mind, to live in pure bliss, to become fully awake and realize the ultimate truth of nirvana. take this moment to go in an inward prayer for your own life and or for humanity. May all these thoughts be realized. May all these thoughts be realized. And we become totally pure children. Totally free. Rub your hands together. You can place one on your heart and one on your forehead. And just bring all this healing energy, this transforming light into the body, into the brain, transforming every cell of our being, transforming our mental formations, transforming our perceptions, transforming our feelings, transforming our thoughts in every form of mind that we have, and making it totally pure, totally pure. We become free. We become free. Repeat after me. I am free from all bondage. 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 Aren't we just little beautiful children of God? I hear a tummy. Well, this concludes today's meditation practice. I'll open this beautiful sacred circle for just whatever needs to be expressed or shared. How was your practice? Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah.
those entities in this
Mm.
made my meditation almost, really quite deep.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think it's really important in doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is the first time we're meditating together here in this location. We had a space in Valley Center, but I think this energy called because it holds that space. It holds a very consecrated feel and vibration to it that the place is nice, but it doesn't have that like intention that this holds. Yeah. 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 The first time I came, I felt that it was like all my nerves were just all right. This is a good space to practice. Every Tuesday nights, he has meditation here. So I'll be here. I might be here about once a month, maybe twice a month on Tuesdays meditating. And then Wednesdays here is Divine Mother Blessing. So if you'd like a blessing from the Divine Mother, Wednesdays, whomever is called and needs that healing that day, he puts you right in the center of the portal, which is about right here. And we do invoke the presence of the Divine Mother. And it's a profound experience for the ones that do get to sit right in the center of the portal and the spotlight's on you. It's a beautiful experience. So those are Wednesday evenings as well. You can come if you would like me to be here. We can coordinate too if you want to come on a Wednesday evening, and I can make sure that I come down for Wednesday as well, and kind of just be there to support you in that space. Yeah. One thing I will share for deepening meditation practice, I learned this from years back of this guru saying, if you want to have and go deeper in your meditations and really calm the mind, train the breath in the beginning. To make the breath without noise, very calm and silent, to make the breath with no irregularities. There's no little jerkiness or irregularities in the breath. There is no extended pauses. So for example, we did some breath work that incorporated, let's hold and then hold. Certain things like that, slight holds are okay. But as you're practicing to really master the fundamentals, all of a sudden you'll notice your breath, you're holding the breath. Maybe for a few seconds, maybe for longer. Don't do any breath hold. Make it a continuous flow of breath. It's never stopping. The inhale gives to the exhale, and the exhale gives to the inhale. So there's no irregularities, there's no extended pauses, there's no noise, and there is no jerkiness to the breath. So it's just this smooth thing. As you practice that, the first part to practice is an even ratio. That's number one, first diaphragmatic. Always happening in the diaphragm. Retraining the breath to always occur in the diaphragm. Not up in the lungs or the upper respiratory, always in the diaphragm. So you retrain it to do the diaphragm. When you retrain it for the diaphragmatic breath, to have it be 1-to-1 ratio. So if your inhalation's 4 or 5 seconds, your exhalation's going to be 4 or 5 seconds. And you match that every time. So it's complete even breath. People who you might have we all have some sort of maybe an egotistical thing, or there's like lashing out at something, or maybe a fear or worries or stress. If you fix the breath all these things will kind of settle themselves on their own. A lot of the problems that we have are linked to the way we breathe. Many people who have psychological issues or emotional problems or, you know, physiological issues, they can be fixed with just the breath and retraining the breath. Mm.
When you're high intensity exercises, hiking or running, can really regulate your heartbeat rate, your heartbeat, your breathing as well. That's why
Mm.
it works for me. So I
Mm.
really enjoy these breathing techniques because it just feels so familiar to me that I like this in my life.
Mm. Mm. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm into meditation. I guess I didn't meditate long enough with all the things I was doing.
Yeah.
Still in our mind and just trust the body that it actually knows how to breathe.
Mm.
Its own intelligence in the body. It will breathe. It will breathe naturally how it's meant to. And providing the mind is still. Because it's always like when we start thinking, that's when the breathing starts getting
Yeah. That's a good point because there's a part, I was going through a breathwork course and he said there's a time to breathe and the time to be breathed. Yeah. So there's moments where you'll train this breath over and over and over and training it to be this 1-to-1 ratio. And then all of a sudden that practice might fall off. And that's a good point because you're not attached to the practice. All of a sudden the practice puts you inward in the inward space. And then you can kind of just, now you're observing everything. Maybe you're observing energy, maybe you're observing deep feeling or deep thought, and you're just in this deep, maybe it's deeply observing the body too, where there's been, realizations that I've had that I've got to see, oh, this is what bone marrow looks like. This is what the cellular system looks like. So the inward vision is actually like you will be able to start to see yourself on a deep, deep level inside just by just tuning in deeply in the body. So it's a good point. You ride the breath, retrain the breath, and then eventually in your practice, it might be 15 minutes, it might be 20 minutes, it might be 30 minutes. Then you just let go of the breath and go deeply inward. And in some cases, as you continue to practice, you might be just go into a breathless state, and you might just become breathless for a little while. And those are profound inner experiences because to be in a breathless state, the mind must be totally still. I didn't know if you knew this, but did you know the brain actually uses about 60% of your oxygen? And so just by thinking, you actually have to breathe more. You have to breathe more. I started to really discover this as I learned this in the course, and I was like, okay, let's see this for myself. So I started to go breathing, and when I was into a very almost barely any breath happening, the breath might be just barely going, and then I think a thought. It might be because all of a sudden my mind wants to think, or I consciously think a thought. A few times it was me actually and bringing an intention in of a thought, of a vibration. It might be just thinking of God or my yearning. And then I noticed, now I have to start to breathe again. And it was like all of a sudden my body needs oxygen. So the brain takes 60% of oxygen. Yeah. And if you think, then you're making, Joe Dispenza, I think he said the brain is mind and brain is brain's just the brain, but mind is the brain in action or something like this. The brain in action, the brain thinking. Yeah. Mind over matter. Yeah. So I'm glad you realized that with your heart. You know, you can regulate the heartbeat. You regulate the nervous system. Um, what what's that? Pain? Yeah. So as you start to breathe, the first thing is to make it a 1-to-1 ratio. And as you start to master that fundamental, you can take it to a 1-to-2 ratio. And so the exhalation is twice as long as the inhalation. And then you start to master this to where in that space you make the exhalation and the inhalation so calm, where the inhalation might take you 10, 12 seconds, and the exhalation is 20, 30 seconds for an exhalation. And so it's so slow happening. This is why yogis can live so long. Most people, their heart's beating more, their breath is maybe, 20 to 30 breaths a minute or more. But the yogi, when they sit, they train the breath. You're only breathing a few times a minute. It might be two, three times a minute you're breathing. And so the heartbeat, boom, boom. It's not so, you're not exerting the whole system. And
Is the life force.
mm,
There is nothing else that's more important than the breath. Of course, we need to eat, we need to drink, but we can actually do without it for a lot longer than the breathing.
yeah,
The breathing has to happen.
yeah, yeah. Oh, jeez.
At the same time as your oxygen saturation for your cells is actually, the chemical capacity of oxygen becomes bigger as well, because we become much more efficient at breathing. When the animals have regulations, like the oxygen level where you're saturated is a lot poorer than ours. Buddhism or all meditation teaches breathing deeply. Yeah.
So one of the things I was finding was falling asleep. So my mind is so filled with thoughts. So then the thoughts go out, and then it's like two speeds, and then I want to go to sleep. So of course my ego kicks in. I don't want to flop on the floor, right? So then I would come back to read, whatever, so that I made sure, because I meditate laying down.
Okay.
And so, how do you keep yourself from falling asleep when all the thoughts empty, the breathing's natural, and you just go out?
So you say you meditate lying down, and you said you stay fully awake when you're lying down, or you go out when you're lying down. The thing that's number one coming into my mind is an intention, and it'd be, what is your intention with meditation? So settle the mind. Okay. Why do you want to settle the mind?
To just have stillness.
Okay.
Stillness is sleep.
Okay.
It's like
So why do you want to have stillness?
so that I think so new things can come in.
Okay. What do you want new to come in?
Well, I don't, whatever's coming. It
Okay.
just comes, like I'll come out, like back,
Yeah.
and then I'm led to do something.
Okay.
Something that I never would have come in before,
Sure.
right?
Okay.
So I
So,
go do it.
okay. So what I'm hearing, maybe living into a greater possibility, living into this potential that's like beyond the realm of mind that you can get to. Okay. The reason I ask is just to go deeper and deeper and get to like what's the core of the practice, right? Settling the mind is one thing, but when you start to settle the mind, like your soul reveals itself to you. Your soul is so beautiful, and it's just it's just like having that identification with beyond ego into soul is now,
I love that place.
yeah,
Go to the place all the
yeah,
time.
yeah,
And then it guides me, right? But I guess in like a group, because I don't do it in group.
yeah,
So in the group, I found myself like, I wasn't going to go where I would normally go.
yeah.
Because, like, I don't know, if I fell asleep, I might fall here on the glen, or I might,
Okay.
start drooling, my eyes started to, like, they're all watering, right? Because stuff was coming, whatever
Yeah,
was happening.
yeah,
And I can do that
Sure.
So in this, like, have that experience where people go out and
Usually, when you want to go into deep meditation, you don't go to sleep. You're totally awake. You can become so inward. How do you go to sleep when you're just immersed with so much power and vibration and an inward light that you're just like, the only way to ride that wave is totally conscious. You're on,
so maybe it's a control thing.
right? You're totally on the whole time.
It is. I find it often doesn't really make me sleep, because you then all of a sudden feel so energized in a way,
Mhm.
and you're really not, that's why I always meditate in the morning. I
Mhm.
avoid it in the evenings.
There's practices you can do, like if you are going to meditate at night and you don't want to be too energized, do slow breaths. Do that 1-to-2 ratio where the exhale is really slow. What is also a very good practice is, there's different ways to practice it, but a simple way that you can do is you pucker the lips and then you breathe out the nose. So just try this for a few more breaths. Now make your exhalation even slower. This is a very cooling breath. It will calm the nerves. It cools the nerves down. If you feel, it'll take out inflammation inside of the body when you practice this breath. Totally cooling. You probably notice it. The brain, like the brain starts to cool. Like it's just so cooling. It'll put you to sleep. I was dealing with I did a similar cooling practice when I had I was dealing with insomnia for a little while. So I learned about certain cooling breaths. One of them is, and so you like this teeth, and it's on the side of yeah, and then a slow exhale. Yeah, yeah, through the mouth, out the nose, and then the nose exhales twice as long as the inhale. The inhale definitely isn't a silent inhale. It's actually supposed to be quite a loud breath. Your tongue stays even, so it's not going to touch your teeth, it's not going to touch the roof of the mouth or at the bottom of the mouth. but have it like hang in limbo space between your mouth. So the air, cool air, kind of brushes up against the side of your tongue, and the moist saliva kind of goes back between your molars down your throat. So the practice of this breath and this pranayam will, again, this removes inflammation out of the body. It brings somebody, there are wonderful, I don't like to talk about some of the powers that it gives, but there are like certain powers of clairvoyance and clairaudience that it'll give someone, of just being able to see people on a deeper level. You might be able to see somebody's thought formations and just kind of see where they are practicing a breath like this. It gives someone a deep sense of devotion, and an inner calmness and state of wonderful clarity. And it also it heals a few things. I forget all the list of healings it can do, but one of them is insomnia. That's why I started it, and it puts you out. You you go to sleep, and you're good. Practice the minimum. Yeah. It's really relaxing. So at night, this is a wonderful practice. Usually I might meditate for like 10, 20 minutes-ish, sometimes longer, and then I'll do this practice at the end before I go to bed. Yeah, it's called Shitkari. Shitkari, something like that. Shitkari. Yeah, yeah. Shitkari, we'll call it Shitkari. A Sanskrit name, of course. Practice minimum 12 to 13 is the prescribed minimum amount. So you do a minimum 12 to 13 and upwards of 60. Yeah, a breath. So, inhale, exhale 1. Yeah. And you'll notice, especially when you get to about 50 or 60, your whole body's cool. Like it's an inward, like everything's just like totally cooled down. It does bring a level of bliss as well. Your nerves will be so calm that they're receptive, and it will bring a beautiful, unique bliss of the body. It brings a blissfulness to the body that's just, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is there some breathing she can use for staying awake during her night meditation?
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good question. More of the quicker breaths. So more of the activating. You might just do like a few of them because it can heat up the nervous system. Those breaths make it very hot. Yeah. Yeah. There's different ways you can practice that one. Right? You can so you're more focused on the exhale, and then the inhale just happens naturally. The exhale is pushing the belly back. That one will make you, that's going to charge you up more. It's going to stimulate the nervous system. It's going to keep you up. So I don't recommend that one in the evening unless you're like ready for intense practice. If you're like super devoted, you're sitting down, it's 9:30, and you're like, I'm going as deep as I can, like, right? And practice all night long, as long as you can. That's good. But when you do that, it's also prescribed that once you practice those fire breaths, then at the end, practice the cooling. Cool the body down with the cooling breaths. So especially at nighttime, don't just try to go to bed after having fire. Put a bucket of water on the fire. Just cool the nerves. And find the balance in that practice. But that's what's going to keep you awake be active. The goal in meditation is to be totally on. Be totally on. If you end up falling asleep, that's okay. I would say it's going to be after you just more and more practice and practice. It'll be interesting just to observe your own evolution in the practice and how that evolves, how much more consciousness you become. The whole thing's going to evolve. But the ultimate goal is you become totally on. And if you do, like at night, if you're about to fall asleep, this is when it's just like, okay, I did my best. I'm ready to go to sleep now. And then you just, you go to sleep. So that's what I would say on that. Mm-hmm.
I will say after I fall asleep, then in the morning when I wake up, look at all this stuff is in. So it must come in before I go to sleep, right? Because then in the morning, like all this new stuff
Mm.
comes forward.
Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm. Interesting.
Where it came from,
Yeah.
except for the night before.
Yeah. And at night it's said that when we get very deep sleep, we go into our soul, and we become embodied in that soul. But you're cleansing the mind, so the mind has space to work. So it can have more energy and stuff like that. But it's also to remember, the more that the mind just totally starts to dissolve, and you let everything, just the thoughts go and attachment to the thoughts go, that's where the bliss comes in. One of my teachers, he had this video that he shared. I tune into some of his videos. It's on yogaworld.org. He has the videos. He's older now. He doesn't give retreats that often anymore, but he said, how do you attain the bliss? How do you find the bliss? And I think that was like finding the bliss. And he said getting to that blissful state where like the bliss is just ever riding, and in that experience, he says it takes a deep state of humility. Because the mind is gone. The mind's totally gone. And there's no attachment to mind, there's no anything like this, but the mind's gone. And when the mind's gone, then it's almost like it's like, I guess, a vessel. Your vessel of light just gets totally on. And so it's like this, there's no like cap between you as a little vessel and the vessel of spirit. Like the cap unfolds, and then you get like energized in that space. And so when you practice, because that's where, if speaking from my experience, if I live in the bliss when I go into practice, and then you start going into the bliss, you feel the energy just start to saturate, and then you might, you take that bliss with you throughout the day. But that's how you go into the bliss, is like just letting go of mind, letting go of everything like this.
When you do that, I start smiling
Mm.
immediately. Like, it's like, oh my God, this is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, but then you're in the right sort of
Yeah.
space.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's about surrender. Humility has to do with trust and surrender. And that's kind of something that human beings find incredibly difficult, because it's not our culture. We grew up in controlling, always being on guard and being vigilant, what's coming next.
Yeah.
So we are constantly in an anxious sort of state, because, generally we are conditioned, and our brain actually is the one that is sort of almost like an alarm system, because it wants us to survive, and then we are afraid going into the unknown. So anything that comes our way that's slightly not familiar to us, it just triggers the mind into this overreaction of
Mm.
overvigilance, and then we as beings, that's the survival, that's our brain. But meditating, you're really going into that space of consciousness, and that's why it's so powerful to meditate, just because we sidetrack, we kind of put the mind aside, and then we go into onto a completely new dimension, which is consciousness, and the more conscious we become, the less
Yeah.
stressed and the more joyful we can be.
Yeah.
It's more like we don't have to have any
Mm.
of that vigilance anymore.
Are you speaking for yourself or for others?
I think it's a general thing. I mean, and obviously I'm practicing it, so I
Okay.
understand that.
So
Yeah. That's a good point. Matt's a teacher in that moment.
I do mentor, and
Yeah.
they teach us to use the I pronoun.
Yeah,
So when speaking.
it's a good point. I mean, it's so funny to see sometimes like spirit play through people, you know. what was what's interesting though is like, you know, part of me wants to speak of maybe going into a deeper space of experience where it's like now we're total experience of physical mind, body, feelings, perception, everything falls away. That's in the beginning, that's a scary experience because that's like that's like you're dying. The ego is dying. That's an incredibly scary experience. I'm not over that yet. Where you go into this state of absolute. And I pray that your grace is you get blessed by this grace and the vision of God, and you can and just kind of live into that and trust that space. For years, I would go into this space, and it was hard to really like accept because it was like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. and going into that, like you go into this. I can't say anything in that space, right? The only words are maybe samadhi or super conscious. Super consciousness I think is one thing, but I think maybe a level of samadhi is a different experience. But you can get to a space that, yes, the mind ends up trusting you and it doesn't become scared. It's really the ego being transformed. The sense of I just becomes transformed. It's no longer have selfishness. It's no longer wants to be selfish or have envy or be greedy or be concerned about its self-importance, but it becomes free of these things. It's the I falls away of I'm important, and it's just you. Like it's for all you. If it's relating to God, a wonderful practice that I share with a lot of people. It was passed down to me, and after practicing it, it's a wonderful practice. My teacher said if you practice it often, you'll be able to achieve great spiritual awakening very quickly. And everything you do, think for you, for you. Everything you do when you do it. Drinking water, you're about to communicate with someone, you're about to have a call, you're about to do anything, is all for you, for you. And it's just it's no longer for me or I or my selfish benefit. It's all for you. And it's always thinking of God. You're always just thinking of God in every moment. It's for you. For you, for you, for you, for you, for you, for you.
I took a course at the UCSD Mindfulness Clinic, and one of the last things we did in the class is get a big circle so that everybody would pass everyone else, and you would go through and silently just say, "May peace be with you."
Mm.
The next person, and just go around.
Mm. Mm.
It's very powerful.
Mm. And I love that because there's not one right or wrong way to do it, you know? I remember there'd be times I would just practice there'd be sometimes I would have judgment. When I would have judgment, that would be kind of strong. I would just keep telling myself over and over as I'm listening, I love you, 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 I love you. And just that practice and that mantra over and over. But peace be with you. It's like anything that's just this, not even for me, but it's just like, let me just share the love or the peace. Yeah, bringing the mind just into conscious awareness. I was just talking with somebody, we had a call yesterday on the phone, and she was saying, yeah, I'm aware of my conscious mind. But I said, your conscious mind is you consciously thinking. That's just you being aware of maybe a more subconscious chatter that's very prevalent and you can really notice it. But that's not your conscious mind. Your conscious mind is you churning the engine, you revving the engine up. And this is where the practice comes in, right? This is where realizing deeper and deeper, like the full awareness of breathing. Breathing in, I know I'm breathing out, and breathing out, I know I'm breathing out. The Buddhist teachings are really deep in this way because Thich Nhat Hanh, you might be familiar with, he was just say, breathing in, when you're drinking a glass of water, breathing in, I know I'm drinking water. Breathing out, I know I'm drinking water. I practice that sometime. I usually find a balance in my own practice in all these different paths. I don't practice exactly one way. But as you meditate breathing in and breathing out, what you will notice is you can bring that into everything you're doing. I teach and coach a lot of coaches, and I'll say as you're coaching somebody or as you're listening to someone and you're having a deep dialogue, just get out of your own mind and just breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. And you're just totally there. And what reveals itself to you is I think what I heard from one of my mentors, magnanimous, this magnanimous revelation of the present moment. That's like you get to see the other person and their beauty and their wonder, and that they get to see a deeper level of you, and just bringing the mind into conscious control, breathing in, breathing out. Nancy, glad you showed up. Glad you made it. Did it really? Gotcha. 1541 Roma Drive.
Yeah, went all the way to the other side, Ridge and Sunset Boulevard.
Gotcha. Nice. Nice.
It went into like those old houses where you have big land. It says 1541, so I drove in with this long driveway. It's not pavement, it's dirt. So I go all the way in, and I saw like one SUV and a truck. I'm like, it can't be it, because I was looking for the white Tesla. So that's why I'm like, hey, this is the wrong place. It says 1541. She dropped me a pin, and it was like, oh, it's on the other side.
How did you two meet?
Yeah, her daughter and my daughter.
Mm.
Really funny.
Wow. How cool is that?
Yeah, my daughter and my daughter is about the same age. They go to the same elementary school and high school. And middle school and high school, sorry.
Wow. Well, you have a wonderful friend here.
She's awesome. We encourage each other. We have similar beliefs.
Mm.
I thought you might like this.
Yeah. Mm. Mm. Maybe we all go on a hike one of these Saturdays and just go on a something like that. I'm thinking about doing a future practice up in the mountain.
Hey, the yogi go hiking and walking up the mountains, man.
That's my meditation. When
Yeah.
I get to the top of a hill, I'm there. Everything's
You're there.
just
You and God.
nature.
The glory of nature, huh? That's awesome. That's awesome.
and all in
Hmm.
You know, like, there's a nice place at Double Peak, you hike all the way to the top, and there's tables and stuff up there. Just that there's no, umbrella or shades, well, there's some trees, but,
Gotcha.
just have to bring an umbrella up there.
Okay.
Sit and meditate, and, you can see four, views. The views are awesome, you see a circular view of,
Gotcha.
San Diego, Mexico, the beach, the ocean,
Sweet.
and the mountains.
Mountains.
What mountain do you think?
There's lots of trees where we are, so we don't have much of a view, but there's a few spots.
For people who aren't new to the mountain, I mean, you're just in forest, so but like yesterday, I went on a few mile run, and I ran along State Park Road, which is you get the whole vista of San Diego, and that's always it's nice on the mind, you know. One of my I guess best friends who I studied with for years, he said what a good yogi practice to do is you go on top of a mountain and you get the view, and he said you just let your total mind and eyes go into panorama, and you just take in everything, and just like sit there. So it's nice because we live in the forest, so it's all like really dense, which is, I mean, it's very peaceful. But then you go out into the view and you're like, the mind, different perspective, different, yeah, it's good. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, eventually I want to have a little gathering up there on the mountain. And I mean, Sadhana is just wonderful. You're so close to nature. It's just, it brings the reflection that's the world doesn't provide. And Dennis, he shared something interesting. I think he's in that bedroom, maybe still with his puppy. Dennis.
Probably fell asleep meditating. The dog.
They became one. Oh, jeez. What was I saying again?
Exactly what happened. He shared something that he
Oh yeah, conscious. He was saying that something he learned was when, like when you're higher elevation, you're above the main, like the world, most of the consciousness of you're of your environment.
10,000.
Well, I mean, the whole San Diego is at what, maybe 1,000 max, and it's mainly 500, and Palomar is 5,500.
55.
Yeah, so you're 5,000 feet above everybody else. I don't know if, I mean, it's definitely, I know when I'm driving up the mountain, when I hit when you hit about 4,000 feet, there's a huge shift. It's kind of like, yeah, it's like,
I was
oh,
living in Montana, 6,000.
yeah.
And I went into Yellowstone, 9,000. And
That's an even, like,
I wasn't feeling well at all.
oh, you were, okay.
No.
Gotcha.
I mean, I can feel that there obviously is a difference.
Yeah.
For me, altitude is something that's really like, oh.
Yeah. There's a pressure.
Yeah,
It pressurizes.
I can feel that pressure.
It is sometimes nice to come down to like a lower level, because sometimes my sadhana gets really intense really quickly living up there, because the energy just wants to go in the higher centers much easy. So it's wonderful for sadhana. Like really, it's a wonderful place to just go into spiritual practice. Yeah. But one of these days, one of these days, for those that are called, come up and we can practice together. Maybe go on a hike together on the mountain. Yeah, and just kind of have a nice experience, maybe like an all-day thing, go on a hike, go meditate, eat, sing, chant. I play harmonium, so yeah, we can. So with that, we'll break for food for those that want to stay. Now, today's supposedly a potluck. I was expecting other people to come who said they were going to bring some food. I brought salad and fruit.
We've got some strawberries.
Oh,
grapes,
perfect.
We've got something in the car.
Oh, wonderful. Oh, you brought lentils. You brought food. Okay. Okay, we have perfect. I mean, I like that balance of food. Okay, so we have lentils. Oh my gosh, you guys brought food. I'm so grateful. You guys are wonderful. Oh. Yeah, let's eat. So I'm gonna mix a nice salad and then we make it happen. Oh, I'm so grateful. Testing. Dennis. Dennis. We're calling Dennis. There he is. Oh!